guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you didn't know by now, my name is Diana, aka Chef D, and today we are making an epic chicken and rice one pan meal. Now, the basis of this one pan meal is obviously rice, a long grain rice. I honestly love basmati, but honestly, you can just use any long grain rice that you like. We're adding this with cut up pieces of chicken breast and bacon, because let's face it, life is better with that flavorful bacon. So all those components mixed together with some amazing veggies in one pan. Mind you guys, this is not arroz con pollo, which is pretty much chicken and rice, but Latin style. We're not going to be using a sofrito, and we aren't going to be using also tomatoes for this recipe. This is kind of a different kind of attempt at a one pan meal that I love so much, especially when I'm getting out of work and I know I need a really good meal. And I hope you guys enjoy this video and this recipe and that it becomes one of your household staples. Guys, please give this video a big like, a big share, and also a big subscribe, and hit that notification button, guys, because I am bringing to you guys every single week new videos. Let's get rolling. Let's start by prepping our chicken. So what I like doing with this chicken is cutting it into 1-inch pieces, literally long size. And then what you're gonna see in the video is that I put them around and I literally cut them bite sizes. Now, this really just depends on your liking and how thick or thin you'd really like your chicken pieces. I'm honestly going for 1-inch bite-sized pieces, but go ahead. If you want to make them a little bit longer or a little bit thicker, go ahead and go for it. Now, for the most crucial part of the flavor in this dish is that dry rub. We're gonna get started with the smoked or sweet paprika. This depends on what you like. Our yellow curry powder, it could also be Jamaican curry powder, and our black pepper. Now, this is honestly to your liking, and obviously the salt. This is, again, to your liking. If you want to add a little bit more or a little bit less, it just depends on your preference. Once we have our dry rub seasoning in place, just mix everything thoroughly so all those little nuggets have that nice and tasty flavor that we're looking for. Start by gathering all of your ingredients so we can get started on cutting up our mise en place, which is the onion, the peppers, and the carrots. I've already prepped up my carrots. Now, I do recommend using either 2 medium carrots or 1 large carrot for this recipe. Start by either dicing or chopping your carrots. I definitely diced my carrots on a more small scale because I did want more of that flavor and I did want that small consistency. Once we're done with the carrots, just place them in a small plate and set them aside so we can get started on those peppers. For this recipe, you're definitely going to need either a yellow or red bell pepper large. What you want to do is slice the pepper lengthwise into long strips and then gather those strips and cut them across to create small dices. Now, this is literally my favorite style to do the peppers because they just add that perfect balance and size consistency that I'm looking for. So now that we have all our veggies prepped up, let's get started with our onion. For my prepped up onion, what I've done is cut off the stem end and I peeled it, leaving the root end intact. Now, slice horizontally, stop the cuts before the root ends, then slice vertically from front all the way to the back. And now slice vertically across. Next, curl your fingers back and let the knife guide you with your knuckles. This is going to be the prime example on how to dice any onion. Now that we have officially finished all of our veggies, the carrots, the peppers, and the onions, let's gather everything together like the rice and the peas and the olive oil and the bay leaves, oregano, salt, chicken stock, and water. And let's begin by prepping our bacon. Now for the bacon slices. I literally have 5 strips of uncooked bacon. Now they are a bit on the thin side because I couldn't get a medium cut, but honestly, the point is in this recipe is to have that beautiful bacon flavor. So whatever you can find, just make it 5 slices. And what you want to do is literally just slice them or chop them up, and this really depends on how you want your bacon to be. I personally did my bacon on a thinner slice, so I would get more of that fattiness that I want to saute my chicken in. Now that we have everything prepped up, let's begin by cooking up this deliciousness. In a large deep pan or a large saute pan, pour in your olive oil and turn that stovetop to a medium-high heat. Just a tip, please let your oil get hot and not smoky. Now in this stovetop, that medium heat would be for me at around an 8. But this really depends on your stovetop. We don't want it too high, but we don't want it really, really low. Now let's add in our chicken pieces. Now, as you saw, I did add in olive oil because what I want to do is literally sear in those chicken flavors with that dry rub. That's primarily the reason why I like using really any type of oil, just to get that nice sear on that dry rub chicken. Sear all the pieces of chicken for about 3 to 4 minutes so we can get those nice crisp bits. Once that chicken is seared, just take it out of the pan and place it into a large plate or a bowl of your liking. In that same pan with all those leftover oils and juices, add in your sliced or chopped bacon pieces. Now saute them until the bacon has rendered a bit, but mostly just until it becomes literally nice and crisp. This is just gonna add another layer of flavor that makes this epic dish so special. Next, add in your diced carrots and then your chopped onions and your diced yellow or red peppers, and stir until all the flavors marry and just really come together with that fattiness of that bacon. Honestly, this right here is by far my favorite part, as I just get those whiffs of flavor and it is just immaculate. Now time for the big dog. Now let's add in our rice. Now, like I said before, I prefer long grain rice. It could either be basmati, but honestly, the important thing here is that it needs to be long because it needs to soak up that flavor and it needs to maintain that texture. If you were using a short grain rice, what it would happen, it would become a bit more soupy. Let's say a risotto type of rice, and we're not looking for that. We're looking for a nice, tender, dry rice. Now it's time for the liquid section of this recipe. I'm adding here broth and I'm also adding in water. But if you do not have broth, don't worry about it. You can just use the water, or even veggie broth. Another thing I recommend to make just life very simple for this recipe, I did use store-bought chicken broth, low sodium. So I definitely recommend this if you're in a rush and you need to make this dish. Go ahead and go for the store-bought. As I was talking in the video, I was putting in the seared chicken pieces. Now that we have the chicken pieces in that rice, in that broth, just mix everything up so we can get all those flavors marrying together. And next, we're going to be adding our 2 bay leaves. Now, these bay leaves are fresh, but you can definitely use dry bay leaves. I'm also adding now the oregano and, of course, the 2 teaspoons of salt. Lastly, add in your frozen peas or your fresh peas. This really depends on what you have available in your house or in the grocery stores. Now, let's mix everything together so we can get all the veggies and everything really evenly mixed in this beautiful pan. I just want to remind you guys that the stovetop is still at a medium-high heat, and we are going to remain at this temperature because what we want to do is we want to let this rice soak up all the liquid, and this is going to take about 8 minutes to dry. And what you'll notice, how you see in the video, is that it dries up automatically and makes automatic like mini volcano holes on top of the rice. This is super crucial before even adding any lid on top. With the lid on, let everything steam away for 15 to 18 minutes. Remember guys, this is going to be at a very low setting, meaning low as in 2 or 3 setting. What we want to do is we want to make sure that the rice cooks in its own steam. And now to finish off this epic chicken and rice dish, we're adding in that a chopped parsley. Now what you want to do is use a fork, either a big fork or a little fork. As you see in the video, I have a big fork, but no worries, you can definitely just use a regular fork. The reason I like using a fork is because I want my rice fluffy and I don't want to mash anything. For example, if you're going to be using like a wooden spoon or like a spatula, what might happen is that might be too harsh for the warm rice and you might end up mashing instead of fluffing up. So this is why I love using this fork method. And now let's plate up this deliciousness. As you see here, I am going to be serving this right now for 3 people. And what I love doing, honestly, is literally serving this with maybe some fresh lemon or lime wedges and maybe some cilantro or parsley, a little bit more cilantro or parsley on the side. And as you see in the video, I'm just decorating that because my friends were like, yes, we love those ingredients, put them on there. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and now let's get to my favorite parts, the taste testing. I want to get a piece of bacon and a piece of that nice chicken. I can really taste those flavors. The first note that I'm getting is bacon. The second note that I'm getting is like that curry powder. I'm getting that beautiful chicken stock, kind of like nice and tender rice. Guys, this is truly an epic chicken and rice one pan meal. Don't forget to give this video a big like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. And ciao.